Previously in Part 9, Lin Yi and Chu Han join Yan Chen at a crowded bar. Lin Yi recalls a past fight with Gu Changquan, causing a stir in Nanjing. Lai Chengxing, a celebrity, surprises Yan Chen. Lin Yi admits to beating Lai Chengxing, leaving everyone shocked. Lin Chengxing wonders what Lin Yi is doing at an expensive bar like that, since he knows him to be just a common person who had just won 50 million. The DJ then announces that Lai Chengxing will be performing that night. Lai Yin is surprised to find out that Lai Chengxing is very popular in that town. Lai Chengxing goes on stage and performs a few of his songs to his fans. Lin Yi does not approve of Lai Chengxing's type of music since he doesn't like it. Chu Han tells Lai Yan that if he were to stand on the stage, the women in the bar would go crazy with his looks. Lin Yi disapproves of that since he can't be cheap with the women. Lai Chengxing shouts out that he is wearing very expensive shoes and asks his fans if they would want them. He then throws the shoes towards Lin Yi's table, and the shoes end up hitting a glass of wine, spilling it all over Lin Yi and Chu Han. Lai Chengxing congratulates Lin Yi for acquiring his shoes and suggests that they could sell them in the future because they have great value. This makes Lin Yi very angry. The DJ congratulates Lin Yi for receiving the shoes and orders the bartender to give them some drinks on her bill. She then goes to confront Lai Chengxing, stating that what he did was inappropriate since the table they sat on was acquired by rich people. Lai Chengxing tells the DJ that Lin Yi is just an outdoor anchor and is pretending to be rich. Yan Chen tells Lin Yi that Lai Chengxing is provoking him. The DJ announces that Lai Chengxing will be performing and asks if there are any offers for him. People start placing their bids. Lin Yi bids 5 million, making him the winner. Lin Yi asks Yan Chen for a favor to wash her feet in a bucket of water, to which Yan Chen agrees. The DJ then asks Lin Yi to pick a song for Lai Chengxing to perform. Lin Yi tells the DJ that he doesn't like Lai Chengxing and suggests another offer, which is for Lai Chengxing to drink the water used to wash Yan Chen's feet. The DJ asks Lin Yi if the game isn't too extreme and requests him to change it. However, Lin Yi doesn't agree and tells Lai Chengxing that he must follow through with the offer. Lin Yi threatens to kill Lai Chengxing if he refuses. Lai Chengxing offers to pay for Lin Yi's table to make up for the trouble he caused, but Lin Yi still refuses. Lai Chengxing mentions that he has never experienced such humiliation, after which he finishes drinking the water. Lin Yi tells the girls that he doesn't find the bar enjoyable anymore, and they agree to go somewhere else. On the second floor, a group of friends chat while enjoying their drinks. One of the friends is also participating in the same tryouts as Lin Yi. They'd all raise their glasses in a toast to their friend, who will be leaving them soon. As the conversation continues, someone interrupts them with news about Lin Yi being in the same bar. The person talks to Zhao, who apparently had an encounter with Lin Yi back on Yuan Island. Some of the friends ask Zhao why he appears to be anxious about the matter. Zhao explains that several people, including himself, have suffered significant losses at the hands of Lin Yi. The friends agree that Lin Yi cannot bully them and get away with it, and they decide to seek revenge before he leaves the bar. Meanwhile, Lin Yi and the girls plan to leave the bar, as they find it more comfortable outside. As they head out, Lin Yi notices Zhao and some of his friends, including a group of men, approaching them. Zhao walks up to Lin Yi and says it's time to settle the issues they have with each other. Lin Yi tells Zhao that he has already forgotten what happened on Yuan Island. Yan Chen tells Zhao that he shouldn't do anything he'll regret and should just stop everything. Zhao tells Yan Chen that the matter doesn't concern her and she should be quiet. Lin Yi instructs the two girls to go out and let him handle everything. One of Zhao's friends threatens Lin Yi, telling him that he's going to kill him. Lin Yi responds by reminding him that's what Zhao said the last time they fought. The guy threatening Lin Yi is named Ping. Ping attempts to attack Lin Yi with his martial arts style, but his efforts are in vain as Lin Yi easily blocks them. Lin Yi then kicks Ping back towards the men who accompanied him. Despite being knocked down, Ping doesn't give up and tries to land another punch on Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi dodges the punch and retaliates by kicking Ping's legs, causing him to fall to the ground. Yan Chen and Chu Han cheer for Lin Yi's skill. While Ping is still on the ground, Lin Yi kicks him towards his own men. Lin Yi tells Ping that he has lost the fight since he lacks martial arts virtue, but Ping remains unconvinced. Zhao instructs the rest of his men to join the fight, but Lin Yi easily defends himself with minimal effort. Lin Yi finishes off by kicking Zhao in front of a car. After dealing with everyone, Lin Yi offers to take the girls back, but Yan Chen refuses, saying that she needs to take the injured men to the hospital. Yanchen then calls her sister to inform her of what happened. In the hospital, the nurses are shocked to see so many people violating the regulations. It turns out that the people in the hospital are the parents of the injured men brought in by Yanchen. A nurse enters and announces that the most seriously injured person has been sent to the IQ. Yanchen arrives to attend to the parents of the affected men. The parents demand that Yanchen provide them with detailed information about what happened. Yanchen tells them that it was Lin Yi who caused the injuries, but she explains that Lin Yi is not solely to blame since they all were looking to start a fight with him, despite her efforts to stop them. One of the parents threatens to have Lin Yi arrested for his actions. Yanchen's parents arrive and put the idea of arresting Lin Yi on hold. They inquire about the condition of the injured men. One of the parents asks Yanchen's father, Mr. Shen, if he knows Lin Yi. Mr. Shen responds that he does know Lin Yi, as their families have some connections. A woman interrupts the conversation, but it turns out that she is Lin Yi's mother, Mrs. Qin Yingyu. Lin Yi's mother apologizes on behalf of her son for his actions. One of the parents insists that Lin Yi's father should be present to discuss the matter further, as Lin Yi's mother doesn't seem to fully grasp the situation. Lin Yi's mother responds by saying that she would be happy to call Lin Yi's father Lin Jingxin. The mention of Lin Jingxin being Lin Yi's father shocks all the parents present at the hospital, and they agree not to pursue the issue further. Lin Yi's mother advises everyone to keep her return to town a secret. Outside the hospital, Yanchen's mother runs after Lin Yi's mother, as they are old friends from their college days and want to catch up. Yanchen's mother tells her husband to go home and let them spend time together with Ruxu, Yanchen's sister, as they will need someone to serve them tea while they catch up. Ruxu serves tea to both mothers as they discuss how life has treated them. Lin Yi's mother admires how Ruxu has grown since she last saw her as a little kid. They talk about memories of childbirth and reflect on how old they have become now that their children are all grown up. Ruxu's mother asks Lin Yi's mother where she has been all this time, and then asks if she has been with Lin Jingxin. Lin Yi's mother replies that she has been on her own, as Lin Jingxin is always busy. She further adds that she envies her friend's relationship. Ruxu's mother asks if she has ever thought about getting him back and living their lives in peace and quiet. She also asks how she has managed all these years. Lin Yi's mother admits that she regrets sending Lin Yi to the Blue Sky orphanage. She thought it would sever all ties, but she still visited outside the orphanage at times because a mother-son bond cannot be broken. Ruxu's mother asks if she had a hand in her son's success in business, but Lin Yi's mother denies it, stating that Lin Yi made it on his own. She then asks if Lin Yi's mother plans on meeting him or not, and inquires if the Qin family is aware of Lin Yi's existence. Lin Yi's mother declines, stating that she would prefer to keep it that way. Lin Yi was late for the tryouts due to traffic, which caused him to reach the venue just in time. While still stuck in traffic, he receives a call from one of his recruiters urging him to hurry up. Meanwhile, Chu Yuluo, the team leader of Group 2, tells the person talking to Lin Yi that if he doesn't arrive by 9 o'clock, she will have no choice but to disqualify him. Ning Qi, the team leader of Team 3, tells Chu Yuluo that if she doesn't want Lin Yi, they'll take him since he's heard that Lin Yi is very talented. However, Chu Yuluo asserts that as the chief instructor of the trials, she has the final say in the matter. Lin Yi arrives at the venue, thinking he has 3 minutes left before 9 o'clock. However, Chu Yuluo insists that Lin Yi is late, and therefore disqualified. She tells him to go home. Lin Yi questions Chu Yuluo, asking who she is to simply cancel this tryout like that. Lin Yi's recruiter warns him to watch his mouth as he's speaking to the leader of the second group. Nevertheless, Ning Qi insists that Lin Yi arrived 3 minutes early, and there's no need to disqualify him. A messenger then arrives, summoning the two group leaders. Inside the office, Liu Hong, the chief of the mission, discusses the events that took place the previous night, including Lin Yi. They mention that Lin Yi is a treasure. Ning Qi and Xu Yuluo are called to Liu Hong's office in response to the summons. Liu Hong asks them if the tryouts have begun and what they both think of a man named Lin Yi in the tryouts. Chu Yuluo informs her boss that Lin Yi was disqualified for arriving late. This angers Liu Hong greatly. Chu Yuluo dismisses the issue, claiming that Lin Yi is just a common man and they don't need him. Liu Hong shows the two a video in which Lin Yi participated in a wilderness reality show, showcasing him tearing a crocodile's mouth open with his bare hands. Lu Hong informs Tu Yulu that none of the players downstairs, who are expected to participate in the tryouts, can do what Lin Yi did by killing a crocodile with his bare hands. However, Tu Yulu believes it was all special effects used by the creators to gain higher ratings. Lu Hong personally contacted the company to verify if Lin Yi actually killed a crocodile with his bare hands, and it turns out he did. Lu Hong tells Tu Yulu that she needs to convince Lin Yi to come back, or she will be fired from her job. Outside the office, Tu Yulu meets with Tao Cheng, who recruited Lin Yi. She asks Tao Cheng if he knows where Lin Yi might be. Tao Cheng offers to call Lin Yi and discuss a meeting place. He also suggests escorting Tu Yulu, as she may encounter more trouble if she goes alone. Meanwhile, Lin Yi returns to the hospital where he has been invited to attend a tour session at a university. Lin Yi arrives at the university and interrupts a lecture by Vice President Morenbo. Morenbo turns out to be a huge fan of Lin Yi, particularly in the cardiac surgery department. Morenbo offers Lin Yi the opportunity to take over the lecture, but Lin Yi declines. Tao Cheng and Chu Yulu arrive at Lin Yi's location and are surprised to see him being treated like a star. Chu Yulu is shocked to witness Lin Yi giving advice to doctors during a cardiac surgery, despite being younger than them. Lin Yi finally meets Tao Cheng and Chu Yulu. Lin Yi asks them what they want from him. Tao Cheng tells him that it's all about the trial and that Chu Yulu was just being impulsive. They would like him to go back with them. Lin Yi refuses at first, even though Tao Cheng tells him that their boss asked for Lin Yi personally. Lin Yi agrees to go back with them if Chu Yulu apologizes to him. Chu Yulu apologizes after initially refusing, since her brother was among the people that Lin Yi had beaten up yesterday. Lin Yi arrives at the facility where the tryouts will be taking place. Tao Cheng shows Lin Yi around and then tells him that the first trial is about reflexes. He will take Lin Yi to the pavilion so that he can take a separate test to catch up with the others. Lin Yi is surprised to find out the equipment they use for training. Lu Hong, along with some of his colleagues, shows up with Chu Yulu and Ning Shi to see how Lin Yi will score. Chu Yulu still doesn't like Lin Yi and tells her boss that Lin Yi will be a great disappointment to them, and he won't be able to score higher than her. They all predict how many points Lin Yi will obtain, since the highest score was over 1,000, followed by Chu Yulu and Ning Shi. There seems to be some tension between Ning Shi and Chu Yulu, as Ning Shi thinks she's greater than Chu Yulu and has issues with Chu being the leader of the second group. Tao Cheng asks Lin Yi if he's ready for the reflexes tryouts and says they may begin. Tao Cheng explains to Lin Yi that the frequency at which the balls are thrown changes over time and that he will need to adjust. Lin Yi tells Tao Cheng that he's ready and they should start with the training. Lin Yi is able to dodge all the balls with minimal movement, impressing Liu Hong. Chu Yulu still has doubts since the ball frequency hasn't reached the maximum speed, and anyone at that level could do what Lin Yi has been doing. As time goes on, Lin Yi surpasses all the previously recorded highest scores, achieving the highest score ever. After beating the known record, Lin Yi walks out of the pavilion as if it were nothing. One of Liu Hong's colleagues suggests that Lin Yi might have a hidden talent if he receives proper training, and Liu agrees. Outside the parking lot, Lin Yi encounters Qin Yanling, Chu Yulu's boyfriend, who stares at him with unwelcoming eyes. Chu Yulu shows up to meet her boyfriend and seems angry at him for letting her down regarding something they had planned. Qin Yanling tells his girlfriend that it's because he heard that some people saw his sister-in-law, Qin Yingyu, who happens to be Lin Yi's mother. Meanwhile, Lin Yi arrives at a restaurant where Ruxu and her mother invited him. Lin Yi addresses Ruxu's mother as Aunt Shen. Lin Yi tells Aunt Shen that he was surprised to receive her phone call since he thought she was in Zhonghai and not Yanjing. Aunt Shen replies to Lin Yi that if it weren't for him and the trouble he caused yesterday, she would have been in Shanghai. Aunt Shen asks Lin Yi if he happens to hate his parents. Lin Yi answers Aunt Shen that he can't hate them since he is a positive person and they brought him into the world, so he should be grateful. Aunt Shen then asks Lin Yi if all these years he never thought of going back to them. Lin Yi tells Aunt Shen that it's been a long time, and while they may have their own lives, he hopes they are healthy and well. After the meal, Lin Yi says goodbye to Aunt Shen and Ruxu, leaving the two of them at the restaurant. It turns out that Lin Yi's mother, Qin Yingyu, was hiding somewhere in the restaurant, listening to the conversation Lin was having with Aunt Shen. Aunt Shen came up with a plan for Qin Yingyu to see her son after a long time, and they both discover that Lin Yi doesn't hate her, which brings joy to Lin Yi's mother. The next day, Lin Yi goes to the tryouts, only to be criticized by people who thought he had been disqualified for arriving late the previous day. Tao Cheng, Tu Yuluo, and Ning Qi show up at the location where the players for the tryouts are gathered to announce the test for that day's tryouts. To Cheng announces that the test will include bench presses, squats, and some challenging pulls. Tao Cheng gives Lin Yi his number, which surprises Lin Yi. He is the last one in line since he finished last the previous day while all the other players finished earlier. The other players seem to be praising a guy named Fei, who appears to be the strongest among them all. Lin Yi asks Tao Cheng about the records for each training, expressing his desire to break each record. Lin Yi successfully breaks the first record, which was 10 squats in a row, by doing 30 squats consecutively. Tao Cheng asks Lin Yi why he didn't continue since he had enough energy to do so. Lin Yi answers that he has already broken the other records, so there was no need for him to continue. Lu Hong offers Lin Yi a challenge. If he can beat their own highest record, he may be considered qualified. Lin Yi accepts the challenge and manages to surpass the first squat record, leaving him with only 2 more tests to qualify. This astonishes many players, including Ning Qi, who is highly impressed with Lin Yi. However, Tu Yuluo still doubts that Lin Yi will be able to break the record, as he has only surpassed the first one, leaving him with 2 more records to beat. Lin Yi effortlessly breaks the remaining records for the bench press and a hard pull, leaving the other participants in awe. They wonder if Lin Yi is a monster or possesses some sort of supernatural powers. Lin Yi is the first to leave the training area since he has surpassed all the set records. He tells Tao Cheng that if he's not the first in the other tests, he will show up late for them. Chu Yuluo wonders how Lin Yi can have such a strong foundation. She knows he grew up in an orphanage and rose to power on his own, but that doesn't explain his incredible strength. Outside the facility, one of the participants, Yuanhao, is frustrated because Lin Yi's performance means that Yuanhao's ranking will be lower than he anticipated, decreasing his chances of getting into the program. Yuanhao comes up with a plan to bribe Lin Yi, assuming that Lin Yi is poor. Lin Yi meets a girl who is heading to a spa for some relaxation, and he offers to be her +1, which she agrees to. While at the spa, they both get into a hot tub and have a conversation before Lin Yi offers to massage her back to help her relax. It's the last day of the tryouts, and Tao Cheng informs the participants that the test will primarily focus on their intelligence rather than strength. It explains that there are only 2 sets of questions, and each individual is required to answer all of them within a minute. After the allocated time is up, Tao Cheng announces that everyone should hand in their papers. It appears that only one participant managed to answer just 1 question correctly, while the rest got them all wrong. However, Liu Hong points out that they haven't checked Lin Yi's paper yet. To their surprise, it turns out that Lin Yi answered all the questions correctly. The test results shock everyone to the point that Tao Cheng offers Lin Yi the opportunity to explain how he arrived at his answers, which Lin Yi humbly does. At that point, they declare the tryouts over and announce that the top 12 participants will be selected to join the organization based on their overall scores. Liu Hong takes a moment to compliment Lin Yi on his outstanding performance during the tryouts, as he achieved first place in all the results. He informs Lin Yi that from now on, he will be a member of their second group. Lin Yi inquires if there are any future arrangements he should be aware of. Liu Hong assures him that he will be notified in advance if there are any important matters, and he should also report in advance for assignments. Lin Yi discovers that he will be in the same group as Tu Yuluo, which he disagrees with due to their issues. Liu Hong suggests that Lin Yi join Ning Qi's team, since they haven't had any new members. Meanwhile, outside the entrance of the tryout site, some participants discuss how they may not make it into the organization and need to find an alternative path. Chu Yuluo is taken home by her boyfriend, who expresses his concerns about Lin Yi joining their organization, finding it very disturbing. Lin Yi goes shopping with the same girl he went to the spa with earlier, as they need to buy formal clothes for an upcoming meeting. One of the shop attendants admires Lin Yi's physique and good looks. Lin Yi goes shopping with Ms. Liang and tries on a suit that fits him perfectly, although the pants are too long. Ms. Liang fixes the issue. She offers to pay for the bills. Outside the mall, one of the men that Lin Yi had beaten up the other day seeks revenge and hires a local landlord named Lai Sai-Kong to take care of it. Lai Sai-Kong is warned not to harm Ms. Liang due to her background. The landlord agrees to the condition. Meanwhile, Lin Yi and Ms. Liang decide to watch a movie. Ms. Liang asks Lin Yi to buy some food, specifically ice cream. It takes Lin Yi 20 minutes to return with the food. Ms. Liang wonders what took him so long and asks if he stopped to flirt with other women. Inside the theater, Lin Yi offers Ms. Liang his candy cane. Lin Yi tells her that the candy cane is supposed to be licked, and when Ms. Liang licks it, Lin Yi mistakenly thinks she is trying to seduce him. However, Ms. Liang discovers something inside the candy cane. Ms. Liang discovers a ring inside the candy cane. Lin Yi pretends to be unaware of where the ring came from and playfully tries to fit it onto Ms. Liang's finger, finding that it fits perfectly. After the movie, Lin Yi drops Ms. Liang off at her house, and on his way back he notices a car that has been following him since the theater. Back at the hotel, the hired killer attempts to break into Lin Yi's room, only to find Lin Yi calmly waiting for him. Lin Yi asks the killer to reveal who sent him, but the assassin denies any knowledge. Lai Sai-kong, the hired killer, wonders why Lin Yi remains so calm. Lin Yi explains that he was aware of being followed since the theater and deliberately left the door open for him. Lai Sai-kong confesses that someone sent him to kill Lin Yi, but before he can finish his sentence, he feels something piercing his skin. Lin Yi had thrown a knife at Lai Sai-kong. As Lai Sai-kong attempts to escape, Lin Yi strategically places a chair in front of him, causing Lai Sai-kong to trip. Lin Yi then puts Lai Sai-kong in a headlock, trying to force him to reveal who sent him. Despite the pressure, Lai Sai-kong refuses to divulge the identity of his employer. Lin Yi overpowers him and asserts that he is not an ordinary person. Lai Sai-kong tries to convince Lin Yi to have him arrested, but Lin Yi declares that he will take care of it himself. Faced with this determination, Lai Sai-kong reveals the name of the person who sent him to kill Lin Yi. It turns out to be Han-Renping, one of the individuals Lin Yi had previously beaten up at the bar. The following day, Lin Yi and Aunt Shen attend a semiconductor seminar. Aunt Shen suggests that Lin Yi should network with the people at the seminar, as they are all part of the semiconductor industry and might be of assistance to his company. However, Lin Yi responds that those individuals will not be of help to him, as he has already invested a significant amount of money in the industry and aims to monopolize it in the future. Lin Yi is taken aback to see that all the attendees at the seminar appear to be gloomy. Aunt Shen explains that many of them are the parents of the men Lin Yi had beaten up at the bar. Meanwhile, Han-Renping plans his revenge and contemplates that forcing Lin Yi to give up his company, which possesses highly advanced technology, would be a greater form of revenge. Mr. and Mrs. Renping approach Lin Yi after the seminar and offer him the deal they had previously discussed. However, Lin Yi surprises them by showing them a video in which their son had hired a killer to assassinate him. Lin Yi firmly states that he has nothing to do with them and challenges them to come after him anytime. Aunt Shen is shocked to learn that Mr. and Mrs. Renping's son had made an attempt on Lin Yi's life. Aunt Shen decides to leave the situation as Lin Yi expresses his hunger and desire to eat. Mr. and Mrs. Renping notice that a man they once knew has become friends with Lin Yi, and they wonder if this man and others have turned against them or if Lin Yi possesses some leverage over them. Lin Yi goes back home after the conference. He is welcomed by his girlfriend, who asks him how his day was. Lin Yi discusses some business ideas with his girlfriend since she is Lin Yi's general manager, and he trusts her to handle everything. They also discuss the semiconductor industry, which Lin Yi had monopolized because he had invested more in the industry before they became intimate. Lin Yi returns to his company to catch up with some things that he had left for his trusted staff members to handle while he was away. They tell him that everything is going well, despite facing some challenges now and then. Lin Yi praises them for their good job and encourages them not to be afraid to use all the money they need. Lin Yi goes back to Huangxi village to check on his farm. He notices that his plants are thriving despite having so many weeds in between them. Lin Yi then decides that he needs to buy some weed killers before they grow even more. Lin Yi meets with Sam, the man he had left to look after the farm, and asks him for any recommendations of weed killers he may use to get rid of weeds in his garden. Sam offers to do it for him, but Lin Yi declines, saying that Sam has already done a lot for him. Lin Yi decides that he will need to go to Zhonghai to buy some weed killers. He asks Sam if he would like something, and if yes, Sam should just write it down. Lin Yi meets with Yoyo, Miss Du, who seems happy to see him. They discuss Lin Yi's thriving garden, and Yoyo notices the weeds in the garden. Lin Yi points out that he will be traveling to Zhonghai to buy weed killers. Yoyo asks Lin Yi if she could tag along since she wants to buy some school supplies in Zhonghai. Lin Yi accepts, and they decide to travel together to Zhonghai. Goofy, who has been Yoyo's longtime admirer, shows up only to find Yoyo chatting with Lin Yi. This shocks Goofy since Yoyo had declined to hang out with him, claiming she had made plans with her mother and couldn't hang out. Goofy offers to take Yoyo to Zhonghai, since he overheard Yoyo saying that she needs to visit Zhonghai for some school supplies. Yoyo declines Goofy's offer since she had already made plans to go with Lin Yi. However, Goofy insists on tagging along with them because he doesn't trust Lin Yi to be alone with Yoyo for a long time, fearing that Lin Yi might make advances towards her. Yoyo decides to bring her friend Du Yao, who has been convinced that Yoyo has feelings for Lin Yi, since Yoyo tends to hang around Lin Yi's house most of the time. Goofy brings his own car because he doesn't want to ride in a car with Lin Yi. He decides to follow behind Lin Yi's car. Du Yao was able to convince Goofy to ride together with Lin Yi since if he doesn't do so, he will only create a chance for Lin Yi and Yoyo to hook up. In the car, Goofy brags about how he can afford the same car that Lin Yi drives. He also talks about how his dad spent a lot of money the last time he visited Zhonghai and how he plans to do the same. He promises them that they will have a good time with him since he plans to spend a lot of money while in Zhonghai. Lin Yi doesn't talk much about the issue and even says that he is learning some money tips from Goofy. Yoyo notices that Goofy is bragging, and she doesn't like it. 2 hours later, they arrive in Zhonghai. Du Yao compliments the beauty of the city and asks why it's referred to as the economic town of China. Goofy tells Lin Yi to choose a place for them to grab a bite, since the girls must be hungry. Lin Yi tells him that he already has a place in mind, and they are heading there. After arriving at the place, Goofy seems not to like it because it doesn't appear to be a very good place. However, the girls insist on eating there since they are hungry, and they all agree. The inside of the place Lin Yi had chosen for them to have a meal appears to be very beautiful, but Goofy doesn't seem to like it. One of the waitresses brings them a menu, and to their surprise, the cheapest item on the menu is priced at 2,000. Goofy still insists that they order anything they want, since he will pay for everything. Even though the girls suggest going to another place, it turns out that the restaurant serves food per person, and they end up ordering food worth over 80,000. After finishing their meal, the girls offer to help pay the bill, but Goofy insists that he will cover it, even though he realizes that he doesn't have enough money in his bank balance to fully pay for the cost. Goofy tells the rest of the group to go ahead while he pays the bill. He plans to wash some of the dishes in the restaurant to cover up the remaining balance. To Goofy's surprise, Lin Yi had already paid the bill before he left, and no one had any idea that Lin Yi had paid, thereby saving Goofy from embarrassment. While in the car, Goofy asks Lin Yi why he paid for the bill when he said he would take care of it. Lin Yi tells Goofy that he could pay him back the money if he feels it's not enough. Goofy tells him that he only has a card, so he cannot transfer the money directly to him. However, Lin Yi tells him that they could just stop at the bank for him to withdraw the money to pay him back. Goofy tells Lin Yi that he will pay for the hotel where they will be staying to make it even for Lin Yi paying the restaurant bill. Yoyo asks Lin Yi if they have made him spend a lot of money only for food and suggests that they don't need a special place to sleep. She even offers to help pay for their accommodations, saying there's no need for them to use their own money. Goofy tells Lin Yi to pick a place for them to sleep, and he will pay for it. Lin Yi chooses a place, but the look on Goofy's face says it all. He won't be able to pay for it. However, he still insists that he can. The girls ask if the place is too good for them, but Lin Yi tells them that they came to have a good time and Goofy will pay for it, so there's no need to worry. Lin Yi books 4 presidential suites for them, and the total cost of the rooms amounts to over 300,000. Yoyo tells Lin Yi that there's no need for him to book 4 rooms since she can share a room with Goofy. Goofy tells Lin Yi that he's not someone special to be sleeping in a presidential suite, but Lin Yi asks what kind of room Goofy would prefer to sleep in. In the end, Lin Yi books 2 presidential suites for himself and the girls. When Goofy asks Lin Yi why he didn't book a room for him, Lin Yi answers that he can stay in the room he had chosen because he can afford it. Yoyo asks once again if she's making Lin Yi spend a lot of money on them, but Lin Yi tells her that it's nothing since he has money. The next day, Lin Yi suggests that he could drop the girls at the bookstore while he goes to buy his pesticides, but the girls insist on going with him since they don't need much time at the bookstore. In the bookstore, Yoyo thinks that Lin Yi is very handsome, and his wealth only adds to his looks. They have a conversation about their university years and what they studied. Lin Yi tells her that he studied business, but he also enjoys studying computer science. They arrive at Huangxi Village, and Yoyo thanks Lin Yi for helping her buy her books. She apologizes to him for making him spend a lot of money in the past 2 days they have been together. Lin Yi receives a call from Aunt Shen regarding the matter of hand-remping. Aunt Shen informs Lin Yi that the Wang family has stepped in. Lin Yi wonders why the Wang family helped him since their actions wouldn't benefit them in any way. Aunt Shen agrees with what Lin Yi said, and they both decide to put the matter to rest. Later, Lin Yi receives a message from Liu Hong informing him that they had a mission the other day, and the details will be sent to him in a chat. Lin Yi is happy because he has been waiting for a mission for a long time. The next day, Lin Yi arrives at the organization for the mission briefing. Liu Hong briefs the team on the mission and tells them that it's a dangerous one with the possibility of death. He offers anyone who wants to leave the opportunity to do so. After Liu Hong tells everyone that they can leave if they wish, none of the participants choose to do so. This earns applause from Liu Hong, who commends them for their courage. He then instructs Xu Yulu to brief the team on the mission. Xu Yulu explains that the mission will be difficult because their location has been compromised. She further reveals that the objective of the mission is revenge. Their target is Jimmy, an intelligence officer, and a member of a business group that sells information, including their own whereabouts and operations. Xu Yulu emphasizes that they need to write a suicide note before embarking on the mission, as some of them may not survive. Upon hearing this, most of the participants decide to leave out of fear of death. This leaves only Lin Yi and 3 other individuals as the remaining team members. Xu Yulu asks Lin Yi why he hasn't written his suicide note yet, and he replies that he has 4 girlfriends and needs 4 papers to write to each of them. Ning Qi tells Tao Cheng to get the papers Lin Yi needs. Ning Qi then asks Lin Yi how he handles all of them, but Xu Yulu interrupts, stating that such behavior brings disgrace to the organization. Ning Qi retorts that Xu Yulu doesn't need to talk much, since she claims to be a virgin. Lin Yi joins in the teasing and suggests that Xu Yulu may be infertile. Lin Yi asks the two if they are exaggerating about the possibility of death on the mission. He points out that both of them have been on many missions and are still alive, so why should he write a suicide note if they will come back alive? Ning Qi explains to Lin Yi that their survival up to that point has been a matter of luck and nothing else. Lin Yi then tells Ning Qi that if his life feels threatened during the mission, he will take the chance to run and save himself. However, Xu Yulu strongly objects, stating that it goes against everything the organization stands for. She asserts that if that is the case, Lin Yi must leave the organization because his actions could jeopardize the lives of his team members if he follows his own ways instead of the protocol. Xu Yulu informs Lin Yi that he must leave the organization and that she will report to her boss that he has his own set of rules, making him the worst team member as he may put his teammates' lives at risk. Xu Yulu meets with Lin Yi at the airport while they wait for a plane to Miami, where the mission will take place. She tells him that she has informed her boss about him, and the organization will not hire him again, so there was no need for him to sneak onto the plane. Lin Yi responds that he wasn't planning to go to Miami and in fact, he has a private jet that can take him anywhere he wants. Lin Yi appeared to be lying to Xu Yulu when he claimed that he wasn't going to Miami. In reality, he had just arrived at the Miami airport and met up with his colleague who worked at his Miami company. They discussed how the business was going and if there were any issues that needed to be resolved. Lin Yi then suggested going to the beach with his colleague, who gladly agreed. While on the beach, Lin Yi's colleague asked him why he had decided to travel to Miami after being away for so long. She also inquired if there was anything she could arrange to make his stay in Miami perfect. Lin Yi mentioned that he would like to attend an event on a ship tonight and that he planned to handle some work there, referring to the same mission he was fired from the organization for. Lin Yi arrived at the entrance of the ship, where he was required to show his ticket and identification to be allowed on board. However, as Lin Yi was about to enter, one of the guards stopped him, suspecting that he may be hiding weapons in the briefcase he was carrying. It turned out that Lin Yi had a bunch of cash in his briefcase. He even challenged the guard to search it if he wanted, but warned that he would sue him if anything went wrong. The guard ultimately allowed Lin Yi to enter without conducting a search for weapons on his person. Meanwhile, on the ship, Lin Yi hacked into the ship's servers to access the check-ins and see if he could find any information about Jimmy. The search took some time, so Lin Yi decided to explore the area while waiting for the search to be completed. Unbeknownst to the guard, Lin Yi had actually hidden a small knife in the briefcase and had boarded the ship with it. Lin Yi went to the ship's fourth floor where he encountered Alice, a girl he knew due to his business partnership with her father. They discussed some issues regarding her father and Lin Yi. Lin Yi then remarked that the ship seemed a bit boring. Alice jokingly offered to hook up with him if he was feeling bored, but Lin Yi declined and instead gave her some money to enjoy herself while he rested in his room due to fatigue. While Lin Yi was in his room, going through the check-ins to find Jimmy, he heard a knock on the door. To his surprise, it was Miss Wadana's personal assistant, who claimed they had seen Lin Yi in the gaming room chatting with Alice and didn't want to disturb them. The assistant informed Lin Yi that Miss Wadana wanted to see him. Miss Wadana warmly welcomed Lin Yi into her room, offering him some wine and engaging in a little catch-up conversation, as it had been a while since they last met. Suddenly, there was an announcement outside Miss Wadana's room, stating that Jimmy's friend had arrived. Miss Wadana confidently stated that if Jimmy didn't trust her, he should come to her personally, otherwise the deal was off. Lin Yi wondered if Miss Wadana was the person Jimmy was planning to make a deal with. Feeling a sense of obligation, Lin Yi offered to leave Miss Wadana if she had some very important business to attend to. However, Miss Wadana assured him that her business matter was minor compared to the importance she placed on Lin Yi. She confessed her feelings for him and expressed a desire to have sex, to which Lin Yi accepted, acknowledging that it would be impolite to decline. Lin Yi's intimate time with Miss Wadana was abruptly interrupted by commotion outside the room. They both wondered what was happening, and Lin Yi urged Miss Wadana to get dressed before the intruders entered. It turned out that the disturbance was caused by Jimmy, who had arrived to personally discuss their business with Miss Wadana. Miss Wadana expressed her disappointment in Jimmy's disrespectful behavior towards her and her family. Jimmy argued that their business would benefit them both, so there was no need for any trouble, urging them to focus on the business at hand. He proposed taking care of loose ends, including Lin Yi, but Miss Wadana made it clear that if he dared to harm Lin Yi, the business deal would be off. Eventually, Jimmy agreed to proceed with the business under Miss Wadana's conditions. While Lin Yi knew exactly what was in Jimmy's briefcase, he wondered about the contents of Miss Wadana's briefcase. Once their business with Jimmy concluded, Miss Wadana offered to continue where they had left off, but Lin Yi declined, stating that they would talk about it later. He then left Miss Wadana's room and returned to his own, determined to find out the location of Jimmy's room. Meanwhile, in Jimmy's room, some of his bodyguards had apprehended individuals who attempted to arrest Jimmy. Jimmy instructed his guards to interrogate them for information before disposing of them in the sea as fish food. He ordered the helicopter to be prepared for departure before commencing the interrogations with the captured individuals. Jimmy made a call to his boss, informing him that the business had been completed and they would be departing soon. Just then, he heard a knock at his room and wondered who it could be. Lin Yi revealed that he was the one knocking and that Miss Wadana had sent him to deliver something to Jimmy. As Jimmy opened the door, he discovered that there was no one there. Suddenly, Lin Yi swiftly attacked Jimmy with a kick, pushing him back into the room. Lin Yi entered the room and informed Jimmy that he had been arrested. However, Jimmy confidently stated that Lin Yi couldn't arrest him since he was stronger. Jimmy attempted to attack Lin Yi, but his efforts failed as Lin Yi proved to be faster and stronger. Curious about who had sent Lin Yi, Jimmy pondered if it could be the organization Lin Yi was once a part of, but dismissed the possibility since he would have been aware of it. Lin Yi revealed that he had been kept as a secret by the organization and that he was there to apprehend Jimmy. Jimmy defiantly claimed that Lin Yi would not be able to extract any information from him, as he wouldn't say anything. Lin Yi reassured him that he would find other means to make him talk. Jimmy tells Lin Yi that he's not a human but a devil. Lin Yi asks, "Is there a devil as handsome as him?" Lin scares Jimmy by attempting to cut him with a knife. Jimmy tells Lin to stop and promises to reveal everything. Lin tells Jimmy that the next time he tries to play hard to get, he should first consider the person he's dealing with. Lin forces Jimmy to disclose the identity of the undercover agent they have planted in their organization. Meanwhile, Jimmy's colleague pressures Ning Sao and Wang Bingyu to provide the name of the scientist in their organization by sharing the complete list. Xiao tells him that they will seek revenge for the death of their fellow comrades who died because of him. Despite being offered a chance to leave alive if they reveal the names of the scientists, Xiao and Ning resist. In response, Jimmy's colleague orders his men to strip Xiao and Ning naked. Just then, Lin Yi barges in by banging the door, and Jimmy's colleague asks him why he's there. Lin Yi enters and attacks Jimmy's colleague. He quickly reaches for his gun and shoots the men accompanying Jimmy's colleague, killing them instantly. Jimmy's colleague warns Lin that his boss will be the first to ensure Lin's demise once he arrives. Lin counters by questioning how his boss can rescue him when his life hangs in the balance of fate. Jimmy's colleague realizes that Lin has already disposed of his body, but Lin assures him that Jimmy is still alive, at least for the time being. Lin proceeds to free his captive friends, informing Ning that her third group is still in the process of recruiting people. He also expresses his concern about the lack of progress in the second group. Ning informs Lin that she will discuss the matter with Boss Liu when she returns. While Lin is freeing the others, Wang Bingju realizes that he is not coming to release her. She cries out, desperately declaring that she is still there. Lin grabs her by the hair and angrily berates her, emphasizing that if it weren't for her actions, innocent lives would not have been lost. Wang Bingyu tries to deny being the undercover agent, but Lin suggests bringing Jimmy to confirm face-to-face. In a fit of anger, Xiao slaps Wang Bingju and demands an explanation for her betrayal. Wang Bingju reveals that her family has suffered a downfall and her father's investments have collapsed. She explains that if she hadn't carried out her undercover mission, her family would have faced ruin. Ning intervenes, stopping Xiao from striking Wang Bingju again, and assures her that Boss Liu will handle the situation. Xiao turns to Lin and asks how he discovered the truth. Lin informs Xiao and Ning that he suspected the presence of a spy within the organization when they reported that the previous mission had failed, resulting in the deaths of 13 people in battle. He explains that the leaked information was too accurate, indicating an insider's involvement. Ning questions whether Lin intentionally created trouble with Yu Lu to give the impression that he was leaving the organization, allowing him to act independently. Lin confirms that he indeed had no real issues with Yu Lu and had discussed his plan with Liu Hong, who approved of it. Lin reveals that there are 2 helicopters waiting outside, urging them to hurry. He informs them that Jimmy is in room 2010, prompting Xiao to suggest checking it out. They locate Jimmy, and Ning comments on his ruthless nature. After examining the contents of the black box Jimmy traded, Ning tells Lin that he has made a significant impact this time. Lin and the others board a helicopter to return, but they spot a man dressed as a clown in a boat heading towards the one they just departed from. Lin tells his friends that they need to turn back and leave him behind as he has personal matters to attend to. Lin spots the clown running inside the boat and attempts to chase after him, but loses sight of him. He contemplates what the clown might be targeting and realizes that the clown must be after special individuals, as his targets cannot be ordinary people. Lin suspects that Wadana is the clown's intended target. Lin encounters the clown, who is now carrying a briefcase. The clown places the briefcase down and challenges Lin to engage in a fight. Lin and the clown engage in combat, and the clown notices that Lin is growing stronger. Lin throws a knife at the clown, but the clown evades it, grabs the briefcase, and escapes. Returning to search for Wadana, Lin finds her lying on the floor. He wakes her up, and she questions why he is there and where the clown is gone. Lin explains to Wadana that he had initially come looking for her, but unexpectedly encountered the clown, which led to his escape. He inquires about what transpired, and she reveals that the clown rushed in and confiscated her belongings before she could retrieve her gun to defend herself. Consequently, he knocked her down, leaving her unaware of the current situation. Lin suggests that the clown might be one of Jimmy's men, potentially involved in blackmailing her. Wadana expresses her intention to report the incident at dawn and arrange a helicopter for them to travel together. Meanwhile, Jeffrey, the owner of Black Gold Corporation, grows furious as Jimmy has failed to contact him since their previous confirmation that the deal with Wadana had been completed. Jenny, a member of the Black Gold Corporation, informs Jeffrey that the Wadana family possesses a reputable background, making it unlikely for them to blackmail Jimmy. In response, Jeffrey instructs Jenny to investigate the situation and discover what has happened. As Lin and Wadana travel, they become aware of a car following closely behind them. Wadana instructs the driver to stop, and they exit the vehicle to confront their pursuer. Jenny introduces herself to Lin and Wadana, explaining that she has been following them to seek answers about Jimmy's whereabouts and to request an explanation from them. Wadana explains to Jenny that the items she had obtained from Jimmy were forcibly taken from her, and it is likely that the same happened to the men from Jenny's company. In response, Jenny points her gun at Wadana, accusing her of playing tricks and demanding that she cease with further explanations. Jenny orders Wadana to accompany her back to their office and explain the situation to her boss. Wadana warns Jenny not to dare shoot her, as her family would retaliate by killing Jenny and everyone in their company, emphasizing their insignificance compared to the power of the Wadana family. Jenny asserts that she is merely performing her job. Lin advises Wadana to ignore Jenny and her men and suggests they leave. Jenny threatens to kill Lin, but he swiftly disarms her and shoots her men in the legs, rendering them immobile. He knocks Jenny unconscious. Lin urges Wadana to go with him, and they bid farewell at the airport. Lin is welcomed by Ning and Xiao at the airport, who inform him that their boss instructed them to give him a second-class merit. Feeling hungry, Lin suggests they find a restaurant to eat, and Ning kindly offers to cover the bill. Xiao inquires about what happened after Lin returned following the completion of their mission. Lin suggests they go back and explain to Boss Liu that his actions were personal and unrelated to the organization's mission. Upon arriving at the Chuang office, Lin meets with Ying. Despite wearing sunglasses and a mask, Ying recognizes Lin and remarks that she can identify his scent. Lin questions why Ying appeared sad when he walked in, and she explains her annoyance with a report containing discrepancies of up to 1 million. Ying asks Lin to take care of the report while she takes care of him, promising him a new experience. Lin then encounters King Yan, and they share a kiss after Lizzie expresses her excitement at Lin's return. Lin is in his greenhouse, tending to his fruits. His system informs him that his next mission is to sell crops worth 1 million. Lin complains, questioning why the system is making him sell such a small quantity of fruit for such a high price. The system explains to Lin that it is to introduce him to new challenges and outlines the benefits. Lin considers it to be a good feature. While Lin is calculating, Brother San enters the greenhouse and asks why Lin appears sad. Lin asks Brother San about the selling price he can get for his fruits in the greenhouse. Brother San suggests that if Lin goes to Zhonghai, where there are wealthy people, he might be able to sell all the fruits for 20,000 yuan. Lin becomes stressed and questions whether he can sell them all for 1 million. Brother San wonders if Lin has a fever, as his thinking seems irrational. He suggests they visit Lao Du's family, who are also planning to sell vegetables. Yao Yao questions Lin about his visit to her house, and Lin explains that he followed Brother San to have dinner with them. Brother San talks to Mr. Du, and they agree to accompany Lin to Zhonghai to sell their goods. Yao Yao insists on joining them, and her father agrees, stating that she must wake up early or he will not wait for her. Upon arriving in Zhonghai, Mr. Du asks Lin to recommend a good place for selling their goods. Lin suggests finding an upscale neighborhood where people have high spending power. He suggests Tongxin Yipan, which is also the home of his friend, and he wants to say hello when they arrive. Lin believes that people from that area will buy their produce without hesitation due to their wealth. Mr. Du expresses concerns about setting up a booth in such a location, fearing potential trouble. However, Lin assures him that everything has already been handled and they need not worry. After setting up their booth, Lin calls his friend to come and buy fruits from him. His friend questions why he is selling fruits instead of focusing on the Ingen group, which is worth hundreds of thousands of yuan per minute. Lin urges her to come quickly as she wants to enjoy the fruits. Two ladies visit Lin's booth after being captivated by his handsome appearance. They discuss his attractiveness, and one of the ladies picks up Lin's fruits and inquires about the price. Lin informs her that he is selling them for 2,500 yuan per pound. Both the ladies and Mr. Du are shocked to hear the price. Lin explains to the lady that his fruit is unique and offers detoxification and endocrine regulation effects, which naturally make it more expensive. Fei, one of the ladies, accuses him of being a liar and threatens to report him for selling such an expensive fruit. Lin responds by stating that he did not force them to buy it and suggests they simply leave it. Fei's friend decides to buy one fruit but informs Lin that if it turns out to be bad, she will return it for a refund. Lin agrees to her request. Fei insults her friend, calling her brain-dead and a nymphomaniac. Despite this, Fei's friend still purchases a fruit from Lin, and they walk away. Along the way, Fei calls the property owner to report Lin. Upon arriving at their office, Fei's friend takes a bite of the peach and compliments its sweetness and deliciousness. Fei tells her friend to stop putting on an act because it seems too exaggerated and attention-seeking. Jia, Fei's friend, exclaims that the fruit is incredibly delicious, comparing its taste to that of first love. Fei takes the peach from Jia and takes a bite, confirming its delightful sweetness. Craving another bite, Fei asks Jia to buy one for herself. An hour later, Jia screams in surprise from the bathroom. Fei rushes to her and asks what happened. Jia reveals that her acne has vanished from her face. They realize it must be the effect of the peach, and Fei insists they go and buy more for herself as well. At Tanqing Yipan, the security guards receive an order to remove Lin, who is selling vegetables there. They prepare to confront Lin and his friends, but manager Zhang intervenes, warning them not to dare to take any action because Lin is a friend of their president. Zhang instructs the guards to go and ask Lin if he needs any assistance. The guards reach where Lin and Mr. Du are selling their goods. Lin asks them what they want, and they inquire if he requires any help. Lin assures them they are fine, and the guards leave. Mr. Du compliments Lin, stating that he is skilled at handling such situations. Lin expresses his belief that no one will bother them in that location. Fei expresses her desire to purchase a fruit from Lin. Lin questions why she has returned after previously calling him a liar. Fei apologizes to Lin and asks him to weigh out the largest fruit for her. After buying a fruit, Fei and Jia return. Fei eats her fruit and asks Jia if her acne marks are fading. Jia suggests that Fei try taking a bath and check again later. Fei takes a bath and discovers that her acne marks are gone. Jia informs her that her skin has also improved, feeling as fresh as water. Fei suggests stocking up on the fruits since they seem more effective than the injections and cosmetics they normally use. Jia agrees. Fei asks Jia to wait for her while she puts on a dress that may help her get a discount. Jia remarks that Fei went from spitting at Lin earlier to planning on seducing him. Yo-Yo asks Lin if he doesn't think the fruits are being sold at too high a price when they could be cheaper. Lin tells her that people will buy them, as one person purchases and spreads the news, attracting more customers. Fei and Jia show up again, and Lin questions why they have returned. Fei explains that they want to buy more because the fruits are good and have improved their skin. Shi Ling, a lady who was eavesdropping, approaches Fei and asks if she genuinely believes that Lin's fruits have beauty and skincare effects. Fei informs Shi Ling that they wouldn't buy the fruits at such an expensive price if the claims weren't true. Wang Naxu Ling, a friend of Shi Ling, accuses Lin of manipulating Fei and Jia into persuading others to buy his goods. Fei defends the quality of the fruits and advises against making false accusations. Lin tells Fei not to engage with Wang Naxu Ling, calling her derogatory names. This angers Wang, and she begins arguing with Lin, threatening to call security to have him removed. Lin warns Wang that he could have her killed if she dares to try, but Wang insists on calling security to handle the situation. Undeterred, Lin continues his business with Fei and Jia. Fei thanks Lin for the discount, mentioning that she dressed nicely to impress him. Lin clarifies that the discount is the free lychee he has given to each of them. Fei and Jia bid their farewells while Wang continues her attempts to involve security. However, the security guards warn her that she can leave if she wants to avoid trouble. Ming stops by to have a conversation with Lin. Ming realizes that Wang was attempting to get rid of Lin. He asks Wang why she wants to remove Lin from the place where he is conducting his business. Wang explains that Lin had threatened her first and emphasizes that her husband is a general manager at Home Insurance. She continues by suggesting that Ming shouldn't be offended because of a stinking farmer. In response, Ming slaps Wang for calling Lin a stinking farmer. He informs her that he owns a prestigious airline, but does not boast about it, while her husband is merely a manager at Home Insurance and yet she is causing a scene. Shi Ling apologizes on behalf of Wang, and they both leave. Ming tries Lin's cherries and compliments their quality. Lin remarks that consuming his fruits will delay Ming for 10 minutes. Ming informs Lin that he will take some cherries with him to quench his thirst and departs with the lady. Ming is talking to Xin on a call and informs him that Lin's fruits have proven to delay time by at least 10 minutes. Qin, Yuan, and another person show up at Lin's shed to purchase the fruits. Lin informs them that he is selling them at 2,500 yuan per pound, which surprises them all. He explains that he has set a goal of making 1 million in sales, so they must restrain themselves as he still needs to make money. Yuan asks Mr. Go to help her get another pocket so she can fill it with peaches and lychees. Later, Lin visits Yuan's office and presents her with the fruits, urging her to try them. She requests that he feed her, so Lin puts a cherry in his mouth and feeds it to her. He then mentions that he should let her continue working to avoid delaying her, and she reminds him to remember to send some fruits to Yang Lao. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you in the next video.